Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to go over the next version of patch notes that were recently released yesterday or this morning, and I wanted to go through. There's some big changes, including a new season, so lots of updates with that. And again, if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, and let's get into it. So I have the patch notes January 27th. So as I'm recording this, today is January 27th. These were released at 4 a.m. Eastern time, and so I'm not up during that time, but wanted to go over with you some of the things that are in here, and there's a lot of changes. So this is a pretty big patch, and yeah, they a few things to note right off the bat. So first of all, gameplay effects. So they restricted game access. So one thing that they've changed, and they're going to talk about it in here, is they've removed duos and squads, and they added, or they continue to have solos, and then they added trios. So new game mode, which is really cool. Maybe disappointing if you really like quads or duos, but they're trying to change it up a little bit, try something new, see how that goes. And then with season 5, they've ranked or reset the ranking. So I know Apex does that. I'm sure other games do that when new seasons begin. They kind of reset you back to a certain level based on your current level. So really interesting. All right, so let's go into the patch notes a little bit. Because they've made a lot of changes. So Orb Island is a tense place where bullets are traded in a not so friendly manner. This applies intensely to super people where domination is created off perfectly timed abilities, obliterating the enemy's hope. Needless to say, these types of situations offer a new level of appreciation to your comrades. The more reliable your comrades are, the more peace of mind that is offered, even through dire situations. Super People plans to raise this tension even higher through this patch. Okay, we're adding more lethality to the guns so that can easily be obtained on the battlefield and reduce the number of soldiers who can group together to induce a more tight knit team play. So this is what they mean. They're buffing a ton of weapons, and then they're changing the playlists. So now up to 3 players can group up and deploy on the battlefield. So be sure to watch each other's backs even more closely. Good luck, soldiers. So that's what I mean. They added trios. That's the 3 players that they're referring to here. And now let's go over some of these balance changes. So modes, duo and squad modes have been disabled, and trio mode has been added. Um, Pretty interesting. So now the weapons. They're going to go through all the different weapons here, and most of them have received a buff. So if you remember a few weeks back, they buffed shotguns. So this is just a continuation of that buff. Not huge buffs, but these are things that are going to uh, decrease the time to kill. So it's going to make it faster, especially later, earlier in the game, I guess, because a lot of these are common and uncommon buffs. So the Scar got a slight buff for common and uncommon weapons. The AKM got a buff, almost a full point buff here. Um, the F2000, very small buff. M4 received only a buff in the common, so I'm not sure if that's a mistake or if that's just part of their um, system that they changed. So those are the ARs that receive buffs. So now SMGs, Uzi, the Uzi got a buff, both for the common and uncommon. MP5 got a buff for both common and uncommon. UMP9 got a buff for both common and uncommon, and the Vector got a buff for the common and uncommon. And then again, the PPSH only got a buff for common. So again, I'm assuming PPSH and the M4, both highly used weapons. Probably not a mistake that they only buffed the common versions. I don't know, but um, so those are the really big patch notes. So change the playlists, change the weapon, or buff most of the weapons. So again, shotguns have already been buffed. Now SMGs and ARs have been buffed. Again, just the common and uncommon version. What's interesting is that the shotguns got a buff throughout their ranges. So from common all the way to mythical. These look like just focused on kind of the early game, the white and the green weapons. Okay, so quality of life improvements. Footsteps on the first floor have been improved for better cognition. Okay, Marine's ultimate fog of war has been given a new description so that the skill can be understood more easily. Okay, and then a number of bug fixes. I'm not going to go into all those bug fixes, but those are the patch notes. So some serious changes. Even though they seem small, that's a matter of 1 bullet essentially, or 2 bullets. And as those add up, and whether they're headshots, you get a headshot multiplier, or if your soldier has a little bit of damage increase with the weapon, that's going to change the early game a lot, make it a lot faster to kill somebody, and yeah. And In addition, just a heads up, I'm going to actually be testing some of these weapons. So I have another video coming out shortly after this one where you're going to see I'm testing SMGs to start, and we're going to go from there and trying to provide more value to the community. So if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have any feedback, please leave them in the comment section. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your support. Have a good one.